Welcome back to my channel, Libra. To both my new subscribers, my current subscribers, you're always appreciated. So much love and thank you to all those that follow. Please remember these are general readings. Only take what resonates. And if the reading doesn't speak to you this month, just check back next month. Energy is always changing around us. So again, also, please allow flexibility on the time frames because you're all at different stages along the journey. So for some of you, it may trickle out into August that you start to see some of the results from July. But on the average, as a whole, the energies are sort of operating between that time frame. So anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to mention as well that regardless of being subscribed, I noticed that the YouTube algorithms are rated in such a way that unless you hit the notification button, as well as being subscribed, you're unlikely to have my readings show up in your feed as I put them out. So just a quick note, please hit the notification bell and I'll start putting out more content routinely. I'll pass on any YouTube tips that I learn along the way as well for anyone else that might be encountering some issues. I will be doing the Rider-Waite deck, the financial aspects as well for the months as I go through. I haven't done it, I don't think, for June yet, but certainly I will get to that as well. But this is just a general reading with the Oracle cards, and I'll do a more specific one as well with the Rider-Waite down the road here as well, probably in the next week. But either way, just wanted to give you that bit of information. So right now I'm using the Akashic Tarot by Sharon Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor. And so what I was picking up with the cards anyway is a lot of cards of luck, spiritual depth, looking for that deeper meaning in life and more fulfilling connections, as well as rebalancing or trying to gain some balance in the month of July. Definitely some ambition and drive here in this month, and children were also a part of the story. There's also solid movement and a lot of empowering energy coming through. So just to start right into it, the first card out is the Akashic Library. So this card is really about bringing in that creative energy and certainly speaks to writing a book or publishing. Anybody that's dealing with the written word or expressing themselves creatively in some format, but certainly the written word is a very strong element with the Akashic Record card. For some of you, this can look like, you're living your life in a new way as well. So I find for the overall energy this month, there is more energy around being self-aware. You're really in touch with yourself, and your connection to spirit is extremely strong, very potent this month. And you are continuing to operate more securely within that framework. And certainly there is, a really strong relationship to your ancestors as well. That divine spark is there. But you are able to see more broadly, laterally, forward, back, past, present, side to side, all of that. There's a real heightened awareness here with your surroundings this month. So in addition, this card can also bring a message that a book in a particular a particular book may be standing out to you, or something, a certain phrase or a title or something in a book, something is going to be standing out to you, or draw you in, that you need to read it, or allow yourself to resonate with it and figure out what the message is that's coming through here. But either way, you are getting some kind of a message that's coming in this month. Something is to be discovered here, and it's probably going to come in the way of a symbol of some sort for some of you, but for others of you, it's an actual message that is more, real 3D kind of message that's coming through here. But either way, in relation to this particular card, you just to allow yourself to be drawn into what stands out in written form. So again, if that comes through by way of you seeing a title on a book, you seeing, something in a symbol in a particular way that speaks to you, you are called to try to decode it, decipher it, or interpret it. Let your inner guidance and wisdoms to allow that to come through, to be able to figure out what it is that you're needing to move ahead with. Okay, so the next card out is the Archangel Gabriel. This is certainly, the divine ancestral connection that's coming through. You have protection as well, and certainly inspiration and flow. So again, for those that are writing a book, the written word, things are going to just start flowing out easier in relation to that. Ideas are going to come to the surface a little easier here. You're going to find, inspiration in places, that you might not have otherwise thought you would, or have, been to before and never found anything in that location before, but for whatever reason, there's something that is coming through symbolically, that you, again, may have to do some interpreting of the signs or the symbols and make those connections, to really understand what you're being exposed to in your environment. You're just being asked to translate things at a deeper level to be able to create this month and to be in that flow. So you are strongly moved to express yourself this month. It's not only in your creative pursuits, but also within your social groups. Wherever you network, whatever your business connections are, this is really strong levels of communication in however you convey your feelings this month. Things are just going to come through that much clearer. Careers that are also highlighted and certainly will be peaking in around this month will be anything that relates around communication, publishing, psychology, counseling, healing, anybody who's in the helping fields, writing, psychic connections, mediumship, that kind of thing. And again, networking and social media. So it's a strong period to really consider what you want to put out into the world and where your voice is being heard and what you really want to say and what you stand for. So, you're going to say things with authority, understanding, clarity, vision, because it's a time where your words will have impact. So just be aware of that. You are definitely operating from an old soul wisdom here. You're really tapped into those Akashic records, your intuitive masters. You're drawing upon that energy this month. And definitely you're just in tune with just the way that you tap into your intuition. Again, is going to, for a lot of you, feels like it's going to be coming in symbolically. And again, that could be coming through in dreams and so on as well. But because you're in tune with it, you want to use that time or use those interpretations, that imagery, to really heal or help with your words. I don't think that you're going to have to do it in a dictating way. It feels like it's just express yourself way, and or express yourself in this way that is familiar to you, and that in itself will convey the messages. So there may be a need as well, with the next card out here with balance, for you to consider balance. So there might be some things that are a little out of balance this month. So just if you're able to create some kind of structure or order or prioritize that kind of thing, this will allow you to create more consistently. And this is where you'll really see or be able to measure your progress, when you implement some kind of a structure. So find a way to keep a schedule so you're not finding yourself frustrated. As I said, this looks to be more of a juggling of activities and multitasking between projects sort of feeling. A lot of movement is coming through in July, and if you don't manage that time well this month, you won't be able to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. And, that scattered energy is not going to help you to really create something solid. It's just going to take that much longer. So you really want to take advantage again of the energies that are coming in this month creatively. This is all potential energy. So it's not the outcome. It's not anything that is firm. This is, fluid energy. So it's nothing that is permanent. It's up for you to reach out, grab the energy as it's close to you, and make use of it. So in a simplistic way, I guess, of putting it. But you really, again, want to take advantage of what's coming in this month creatively and the wisdoms that you have access to. Your truth will come through these wisdoms. And so you're going to be able to really advance and propel yourself forward in the most efficient ways here if you can rein in some, real balance. But again, that scattered energy is not going to bring the best results here. So try to prioritize, structure, your day out, focus on the things that bring you the most movement forward. And again, just for others as well, this may may have, you may just have a lot of areas in your life that are out of balance as a whole, not specific to any particular project, but in using, in finding ways to be creative, this might help you to order out your affairs or communicate or delegate responsibility, where you can, and just really implement more structure again around you. And it helps to also heal some of those areas in your life, because you have so much incoming truth and clarity coming in, that you're getting the rebalancing because of that flow. And again, creativity may help to create that structure for some of you. So again, creative solutions and so on. But this card can also speak to dealing with legal matters, contractual documents, anything that has important paperwork around it that needs to be dealt with, divorce, property, business, inheritance, anything like that. So however that resonates to you in your situation, just be aware of having to deal with some of those issues this month. But because the overall energy for the month is quite positive, I don't feel like there's something that you have to be wary of. I will do a Rider-Waite deck following this reading that will give more clarity on if there is something that's going to be coming up around that. But just with this particular deck, it all feels very positive. So your perception with the next card is going to be key with the Oracle of Delphi. So this card is all about, great insight, great wisdom, finely tuned intuition, heightened connection to spirit, seeing things in new ways. So, whether this is, as I mentioned before, dreams coming in, repeating numbers for some of you, cloud formations that provide some kind of symbolic representation, maybe it's passages in a poem, or specific words or videos or something that you're just compelled toward, titles in a movie might stand out, and you might feel the need to watch a particular movie and it helps to resolve, a particular issue that you were in a quandary over or whatever, so however those images or those words resonate for you, there's some kind of specific message that comes to you in a way that will stand out, and you may not yet be at a stage where you can interpret it, but you're aware of it, and this is where you are to really try to slow it down and take a look at that, because there's something that is coming in encoded in some way to you that you are deliberately expected to, try to decipher, decode, whatever that symbol is or that image is. So that's your job this month is, to try to become more psychically connected to the symbols that Spirit is trying to provide that wisdom for you to connect with them. So again, it's using your wisdom and your intuition that you already currently have available to you, and to discover the messages or truths, that are also going to be further incoming. So again, you're in energy that is embarking on new territory here, and that can be fresh starts in a business or in a family situation. Your perspective is changing about how you see yourself or how you see others. But it's also, again, that creative pursuit, that opening up of flow and, birthing new ideas. But it can also represent a literal birth of a child as well, because there is some other cards that further out that also speak to children and that being a focus this month. But there is, again, that place of further growth and expansion. So it's important to continue putting in the work on what matters to you this month. So the next card out, sorry, I guess I kind of dealt with both of those with the birth. The next card out is the Seven of Scrolls, and this one is intricacies and industry. That's again about building a business. So for those of you that are entrepreneurial, it's definitely something that you're going to be really putting your heart and soul into here. For others, this can speak to renovating a house, or moving things around, changing the way something looks, appearance, changing the perspective of something, maybe on a more personal level, restructuring something. So be diligent, pay attention to the details, implement a strategy and a course of action, and make sure that you follow through, because this really speaks to a long-term goal here for you. And certainly those small steps, when they're well constructed, really builds that strong, solid foundation. That's where you spring everything from. So when you amass the small steps, they become the big steps, and then you won't realize over time that you've actually arrived. So the garden is fives definitely speak to change as well, and the garden also speaks to, so it could be change around an environment with children. So if there was an issue around children, this, or around the home front, or something, a relationship with a youth, something along that line. It does feel like there is a strong focus on, as I said, children this month, but certainly a relationship looks to be healing with a child or with children, or, a younger person. But for some of you overall, they are more the focus just in general this month, and you're really taking the time to enjoy them in July. But for others, it can also be about, needing to pay attention to something that your children might be going through this month, and just to be aware of any issues or concerns that they may be having. So really opening dialogue or something along that line, for sure. But it can actually be an actual birth year, as I mentioned, for some of you, and it certainly is a repeat with, prior cards here. But either way, it's an advantageous time to really enjoy the company of children or young adults, and they are definitely a part of the focus for this month. Could also, I should just mention, could be inner child work that you're personally doing as well, where you're really just, starting to feel more connected to yourself and able to understand a part of yourself that is allowing you to be more in flow creatively. So we also have the Master Artisan, and this is really about finding your own purpose here, and for sure you're building on something. This is taking pleasure in what you do this month. You're on task. You're really pouring your gifts into the things that have meaning for you. And some of you may already be at that stage where you will be teaching or training, but this card also speaks to that. Maybe some of you are training for a new position because there was some energy around something new there as well. But again, I'll further clarify when I do the next reading out with the Rider-Waite decks in the next reading. But for right now, the energy is around, you really pouring your gifts into something that has meaning for you. You may already be at that stage again where you're teaching or training, others, or retraining for yourself. But it's certainly about some learning here. But this can also be about performing or demonstrating your talents publicly and building a reputation for yourself. So it is a card of putting yourself out there and just allowing yourself to shine, be noticed. Don't downplay yourself this month, because when you're creating, this energy produces more flow around you. So things start to open up to you. This is where you really want to show your special talents, your genius, your special gifts. Don't let anything stop you, from being brilliant. It's your time to let things flow out, especially the messages that have been incoming for, the previous months here. I feel that's really the theme for this year, is really to allow yourself to shine. So for many of you, there could also be a partnership or a joint project or a collaboration of some sort, or some kind of input from another. Maybe somebody's assisting you with a website or assisting you with something that helps to solidify things for you in building, a purposeful goal. But however that resonates for you, it just feels as though you've got some kind of project that is more of a calling. It's work that you really enjoy to do. So again, just to reiterate, I'll follow up with a general reading for more specific detail on some of those cards, but that'll be likely in this next week here. So, but again, there's new opportunities or job offers that I get a feeling are coming through here because of that new energy, but we'll clarify with Rider-Waite in the next week. So just wanted to get some of the very general messages out with this particular Oracle deck, and then we'll go from there. So the last card out here is the waterfall, and that is just indicating that this is a really powerful time for you. So very, very powerful energy for this month. You have incredible personal power this month. You have the ability to really manifest and shape your world at this time. You are dealing with deep insights, deeper emotions. And for some of you, it might be overthinking here at times, but your thoughts are especially thought provoking and significant. So they will have impact. Whatever you say, whatever you do, and however you're expressing yourself has some real deep um, energy that will transform in the real world. So you're really tapped into something here this month, and you're definitely in touch with your divine masters that are helping you to really, excavate some of your genius here. And with that psychic energy developing, you also are going to be able to trust in it more and more, and you're also going to be receiving more and more, which is going to help you, further carve out, more aspects of yourself and interpret the symbols and the things around you, the truths, the wisdoms, that help the world to heal, that help you to heal. This is where you're going to be expressing and expanding, your light, and also allowing for more light to come into you. So you want to lift up and raise the consciousness around you when you have access to that energy. So just let it flow, let things flow out of you is the waterfall imagery. Don't dictate or force, use your creative words, your talents, and expressive ways to speak your insights fluidly. So it's not a telling, it's it's movement that takes place from just you being you. So I just wanted to throw out there one last thing. I heard a quote that I just thought I'd pass along, just because I think it's just overall a good message. You only know you were happy when you no longer are. So I mention that because we often forget to live each moment as something special. So when you think about your ancestors, for example, it's often a picture that held a special moment, when you're going through the photo albums and so on. And where they stood in that memory, or where you stood in a particular memory, where a picture is taken of you, we never really think that we will be defined by that moment. So my point here is, when you look back on future, or when you look back, or when your future generations look back on your photos, which one is most likely to stand out, and how will you be defined? So when you stand, or where you stand, and when you choose to take the picture or have the picture taken of you, again, is very often going to define you in that moment to your future generations. So it's really up to you to choose the frame around your picture, so to speak, and how you will be remembered. So I say that because I just want everybody to remember to live, more in the moment, and remember that, what's being reflected inward gets reflected outward as well. So don't lose your spark, Libras. Keep your pace and keep moving forward.